Well, good morning and welcome. I'm Richard Betts, the Account Director at Britannic. Just like to reiterate really, Mike, this is your time here, and thank you so much for giving your morning to spend it with us. If there's any questions, please feel free as we're running through the discussions to ask. There'll be breakout sessions and also a demonstration that we can actually have a look at some of the different technologies. So, the agenda for today, we're a little bit behind, but we'll soon catch that up. So we'll start off just setting the scene a little bit about how we're seeing, we've got 30 years of experience working within the contact center arena, how we're seeing some of the changes taking place at the moment. And then I'll introduce Maurice, who will then look at understanding and how you measure customer experience, which is a key area, because ultimately, customer is an important person in every organisation. And then we'll introduce Alex, who will look at a fantastic way that you can actually embrace social media into your organisation and manage that huge world, that sphere, the social sphere of unknown. It's incredibly powerful and a great opportunity, but also a potential threat that needs to be handled and managed. And then we'll have a break. And what we'll look at doing, we'll then come back. I'll look into a little bit more around ways that we're able to integrate different technology, and we have integrated different technologies, and introduce maybe some enabling technologies that support and facilitate change within the contact center, as well as our approach that we help clients manage change. And then I'll introduce Mike again, who will actually do a deep dive into the Avaya portfolio around the multimedia contact center. And what you've got to remember is Avaya have got a huge pedigree and experience and solid market share within the contact center arena, and with the changes within the Avaya portfolio, actually that power and that stability is actually scaling down to a low level of users, which makes it fantastic, because actually a lot of organizations traditionally couldn't have that reach of that technology. We're able to now actually bring that into their businesses, which is a huge business enabler. And then what we'll do is we'll then have some demos and go and actually look at different scenarios. As I said, it's a workshop, so please, any questions, just fire away. Okay, so any Britannic customers here? Fantastic, welcome. Those who are not, welcome as well. Just a quick overview of Britannic. So we've been going 30 years, privately owned organisation. So we're in a fortunate position that we're able to sort of control our innovation, control our financials, to be in a position that we're able to really harness and make the most of what technology offers our clients. We've been pioneers in the world of contact centre many years ago, 30 years ago when we launched. We won awards for building our own BTC delegate contact centre platform, so it's an ACD system. So we built that ourselves, we took that out to market, and we won awards for it. And this is the days when contact centres were call centres, your traditional large contact centre. And we developed an application that enabled it to bring that technology to much smaller organisations at the time. Obviously 30 years, times have evolved, technologies have evolved, and we support currently in excess of 150 contact centres. Ranging from many thousands of users to small organisations. I think a key point for us was in our drive to constantly innovate, and our innovation stretches right back to the early days with the BBC, where we took a normal telephone system and we integrated it with a soldering iron and screwdrivers and a very mechanical, engineered solution to build out a technology that enabled broadcasting companies to actually manage their phone-ins. So line one, bring that person in and integrate it into the broadcasting solution. And that worked very well, and we were one of the first independents into the BBC at the time. As technology evolved and moved and the market migrated to more of a software focus, we made an acquisition 14 years ago of a software house. And that placed us in a really unique position, especially with Avaya, because we were writing. Anyone know the Index platform, the Avaya Index? Yeah, so the cabinets and stuff. Many moons ago, we were in a unique position where we were actually writing the reporting software the reporting universe around the Index platform. So we were a customer of Avaya's, a supplier of Avaya's essentially, supplying that technology. We were also taking that technology out to the market. Now what that enabled us to do with the software people we've got within the business is we're able to now really tighten up and deliver a joined up working platform with the technology, so we can integrate different types of applications, and we've won numerous awards for that. I think the key thing is that people talk about joined up working, and that, what does it mean? How does joined up working help? But if we take disparate different technologies such as your database and your phone system, what's the power if we could actually integrate the two together? And CTI, computer telephony integration, is a technology that has been spoken about for many, many years, quite often isn't delivered. And the reason it's not delivered is because it's confusing, there's grey areas. What we've done, we've got the project management processes, we've got the methodologies around our business, we've got the technical know-how to enable us to pull those technologies together. As a result of that, we've actually developed our own middleware application that is incredibly open, not only to different phone systems, but also open to different databases. So we've actually simplified, out of all of that complexity, we've produced a middleware application that really facilitates and simplifies CTI, bringing the different technologies together. So the depth of skill set within Britannic not only makes things possible, but also enables us to develop applications that facilitate a smooth transfer to joined up working. We sort of embraced cloud technologies sort of 4 or 5 years ago. We saw the trend of where the market was going to go, and we invested, because we've got the capital reserves within the business, we invested into our own cloud platform. And now that enables us to support over 25,000 cloud users. And a number of those clients are working across, deploying contact center from the cloud as well. Uswitch being one, whereby it's a fully functional multimedia contact center deployed from the cloud. So we've got the experience and depth of technology where we need to deliver 5 nines availability, always on platform, through to the ability of joining all these different services together. We've developed a really comprehensive portfolio over 30 years, and I think what that does, that gives our customers choice. I'm not saying you have to take all of the technologies, but what it means is when you're taking, if you need different technologies, it's easy to deploy. It may also be that you've got your own preferred technical partner, for argument's sake, on the network. That's not a problem, we can work with you on that, but we've got the right technical people in our business that can interface with your preferred partner on the network side, so you don't get caught in this grey area of finger pointing, so we can align the relevant skill sets to help support deployments and ongoing support. But the bottom line is, how could we have actually worked with some of these customers here, and some of these have long-term relationships where we've taken these clients through multiple technology refreshes. Our approach around the consultative way we engage our clients, how we work with our clients to understand the business processes, how we undertake discovery days, how we look and understand the fundamentals of how your business operates, and then build that into a technology plan. As opposed to a lot of providers who'll go in and just show you fantastic technology and try and fit that square peg into a round hole, and at times try and get the hammer out and shoehorn your business and your business processes into the wrong shape. The contact center is absolutely critical. In my experience of working with a number of customers, it's a primary revenue line. Not only is it protecting your existing revenue, but it's also a touch point for growth within the business. Yeah? In the current market, we're seeing more and more services being diverted internally round to the contact center, which means the contact center managers are now in a position where they're managing more and more and more. The responsibility is even greater. And their accountability across the business is huge. And at times technology isn't helping because it's the wrong technology in play that's restricting the clients. And it's through our consultative approach and our experience and the team of people we wrap around our contact center customers help support clients through any transitions. So the view of UK contact centers, we see it pretty much as a hub of customer contact. Would you agree in your organisation? How many of you have got contact centres at the moment? Okay. Yeah. How would you agree that that's the case? It's a hub for customer contact. Yeah. From a support or from a sales or from both? How many is the contact centre sales function? Yeah. And there's a support function, so customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah. really, really key, isn't it? Because, you know, Twitter is fantastically powerful, yeah? It's huge. I remember being queuing for BT. I was trying to upgrade my broadband, and I was queuing. I thought, right, so I was 20 minutes on the queue, waiting. 8 o'clock came, or whenever the deadline was, push, queue was shut, wasn't answered. Went to Twitter, it's like, oh, come on guys, I'm trying to place an order, you know, please help. Tried to self-service, need to talk to somebody because I don't understand, you know, I'm in the industry, I don't understand what you're asking me to do. And very quickly, through Twitter, that was picked up, it was responded to. I was given a link to go to a new set of self-service pages to help address that. Following morning, Twitter back in again to me, you know, a tweet, checking everything was okay, subsequently converted to the order. You know what? It was fantastic because I was really, really frustrated. You know, it was going to go to Sky, but that tweet, you know, saved it. I missed putting the kids to bed because I was on the phone that the queue was done. So I was severely hacked off at the time. But the power of social media, me just putting it out there, and it wasn't a whinge, it was a kind of like, help, you know, I want to do this, help me, I want to give you an order. And I think that's the thing, is that, you know, the customer contact is absolutely paramount. You know, it's key in our business, customer contact. We've looked at, you know, we've introduced multimedia contact center. Why? Because people want to communicate that way. The question is have you aligned your businesses to how your customers want to communicate with you? And that's something Maurice will dig into in more detail. Over 1 million people work in the contact center arena. That's quite a large number. And, you know, I think it's bottom number here. 8.2 billion inbound calls a year. How many tweets are coming in? How many emails are coming in? How many face-to-face contacts are coming in? You know, this is the thing, how do you manage that? How are you making sure your organisation are maximising the return on that? This is from you know, industry research out there. It's interesting, the channel preferences. So, you know, on the left we've got the traditional phone, email, face-to-face, you know, in stores, always important. This is all key contact points within the organisation. What we're seeing here, though, is the green area. We've got all these just people increasing. Why is that? I think the reason why, a lot of it, is based on accessibility. I can reach a huge audience. I can communicate how I want to communicate. I've got snapshots of time to do things with. It's easier for me to maybe integrate, communicate and deal with things this way. BT, you know what? Really, really positive experience I had here. Over here was a really bad experience. I wanted to leave and go elsewhere. You know? How are you embracing these channels within your organisation? The customers' expectations are changing. You know, think about yourselves. You know, we're seeing a huge shift from consumer-based, business to consumer-based consumption shifting into the workplace. People expect to be able to communicate across the medium of their choice. But what I would say is really, really key is what we call transferable experiences. If you think about this, you've spoken and engaged with a contact centre, and it's a really positive experience. What are you expecting for the next time you engage with another contact centre? So let's say your competitor is delivering a far better level of customer service than you, so it's a really positive experience. That customer calls you and you don't deliver that same transferable experience. They're measuring you based on your contact. And if the competitor's contact levels is a far better, seamless, positive experience, and you're doing your best here, but it's not that same experience, the expectations of the caller, where does that leave you? Where does that leave you when they want to come to renew a contract? Where does that leave you when they go onto Facebook and go, you know what, it wasn't a good experience? You know, key factors here, you know, affecting customer satisfaction. I think this is the same regardless of whether it's a business to consumer model. Anyone business to consumer here? Yeah, business to business as well. Yeah, so you know, do your mixed environment. Where does this leave you? You know, how are the customers being? You know, what are the customers expecting from the service you're getting? How are they measuring their satisfaction? Because ultimately, that's the key thing. If you're satisfied and you're happy, that's great. and they can flip that to social media, and that's really powerful. Conversely, if the satisfaction isn't where it needs to be, where does that then leave you from the brand loyalty? And you know what? There's all these stats. It's a lot easier to keep a customer than it is to go away and find a new one. So from a business side, let's look at this from a strategic business side. What we're seeing here is that there's a huge drive to improve quality, improve performance, maximise our bottom line, drive the sales, keep our customers, let's diversify our business, let's reach into new markets. And the recession drove a lot of that, drove a lot of consolidation. Let's get people doing more, because actually I can't afford to have lots of staff, but we've still got to deliver this service to keep our customer. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to diversify and jump into a new market. Where does that leave the contact centre? Where does that leave those people that you're looking after or tasked with that within the business? What are we doing to embrace new technology? How are we embracing new technology into the business? Is it like a dark cloud, stuff that's coming in, technology that's being consumed within the business outside of the remit of IT? But actually, at that point, it's a measured experience you're giving a customer, but it's actually dropping outside the wider measures of the business. That's actually quite a dangerous place to be. Compliance is huge. Anyone about taking PCI payments over the phone? Yeah, that whole thing. I know with my customers, it can ripple far beyond simply just muting a call recording. It can how you segment your data, and it's huge. Compliance is a huge concern. But ultimately, you've got to do it, right? You've got no choice. Well, if you don't, that's a grave decision. So at one side, you're trying to diversify, drive your revenue, build the business, protect your customers, and on the other side, you've then got this huge compliancy going on. And the bottom line is your service has got to be uptime. People don't want to consume and don't expect to consume, even in the workplace. It's not a 9-to-5 workplace we work in anymore. It's far greater. And then we have the global element that suddenly comes in, where people are spreading out globally, and then how are they then supporting? I've got one of my clients who's got a contact centre in the UK, a contact centre in Kuala Lumpur, skill-based routing across both, overflowing, time-based routing as well, all sorts of stuff going on. Now we're looking at bringing email into that mix as well. It's a global place, the world's shrinking, all those cliches, but the bottom line is this is what's on the agenda for the board. Just finally, think about yourself. Do you have these traditional metrics? Are your traditional metrics aligned to truly what your customer wants? Are you, how do you measure your performance at the moment? And on that note, I'm going to hand over to Maurice, who will talk a little bit about Universal Agent.